What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the...
dog.
So today we're going to do a review, this time with spoilers for Shazam. If you haven't seen the movie, do not watch this video. Turn the video off right now. Go watch Shazam, okay?
Unless you don't care, which I think you should.
Yeah. So yeah, go watch the movie if you haven't. Otherwise, you're watching at your own risk.
Alright, Final warning.
Final warning.
Spoilers start in 3, 2, 1.
Alright, let's go ahead and get started.
Go for it.
So, I think, Juan, we'll let you kick it off and just...
Alright. Well, I mean, last time, I think throughout the video we gave our scores, right?
Yeah.
Did you watch it again? I know you said
I ended up watching it on Saturday, I think.
Saturday too.
Like at 4 or something like that.
4? Yeah, that's the time I saw it too.
So we got to see it again, and at the same time, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 9. So just my score hasn't changed, just to let you know.
Yeah, relatively. Yeah, just I think the 9 out of 10 was.
It's pretty solid.
9.1 after watching it. So.
Damn, 0.1 increase, which is good.
Increase.
Usually movies go down.
That's exactly
it. Up.
It
Okay.
was just as good the second time around.
But basically, the movie starts with Dr. Savannah coming out.
Yeah, as a child.
Yeah, and you see him arguing with his parents about how he needs to be a man and a man needs to do his own thing and stuff like that. And then as the movie rolls down, he encounters Shazam the Wizard, and then he tells him, hey, I'm looking for a champion. He tells him, if you're pure of heart. The kid starts listening to the 7 sins, and then he tries to reach for the eye.
He gets tested.
Yeah. And he doesn't pass, because he tries to reach for the eye, which it's what contains the 7 sins while they're trying to escape.
Okay.
And do everything right.
Yeah, I mean, that was just sort of like the first. I think the first was it like 10 minutes,
first
or
5
15
minutes,
or maybe even smaller. But
yeah.
I don't know. It feels like they crammed so much, but it was really good the way they did it too, because it's literally you see the character motivation for Dr. Savannah, why he ends up being the bad guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually villains just show up, they're bad guys.
Yeah.
He has a real sort of personal motivation behind it. You see his relationship with his dad. His dad's a real jerk to him.
Something you can relate to. A lot of people can relate to.
Exactly. Like, he always feels like he's not good enough, and then he's got this guy who just randomly calls him up, says, hey, I'm here to see if you're pure of heart, and then he tells him he's not pure of heart. Like just imagine a wizard just randomly calling you, just saying, hey, you're not good enough.
Yeah, you're not good
Nobody
enough.
told you to call me in the first place. You know why?
No.
So it really pisses him off, and that's basically the driving point for Dr. Savannah. That's his motivation on why he's trying to, I guess, prove himself, and it's,
I think so too. He has a lot of pressure due to his dad's success. He's a very successful person in the movie. As you come to see, he has a big corporation, Savannah Industries, I believe it was.
Yeah, Savannah Industries.
So he's next level.
One thing I gotta say is, I didn't know his name at the beginning. Isn't his name like Thaddeus or something like that? I found it kind of funny.
Thad. They called him Thad.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
His name was just really awesome.
One thing that I wanted to point out, I could be wrong, but I think that guy, his dad in the movie, was also Lex Luthor's dad in Smallville. If I'm right, I think that was him. So that's
we'll verify that if that's right. We'll
second time that he plays the villain, the father to a villainous role. So
yeah,
that's
so
cool.
That's Dr. Savannah. That's sort of his origin in the first 10 minutes of the film.
Literally the first, yeah.
So let's go ahead and get right into Billy. So
where do we meet him first? We meet him when he's
stealing the cop car.
Yeah, so he's using the police scanner to look for his mom. So you can
he's
tell, you can tell by the trailers already that he's an orphan.
He's a little outlaw.
Yeah, so he's an outlaw.
He's a street kid. He's a street kid, and he literally grows up a street kid because as you see in the movie, he is left at a park. By his mom, and you come to realize that he was left on purpose because the mom wasn't ready. And I think that going back to the Dr. Savannah, there's a lot of kids that can relate to those parent issues, and then also the kind of issues that a foster kid goes through. And I mean, the whole time that we were watching the movie, I was like, man, he's gonna find his mom. I knew he was gonna find his mom. I just thought it was gonna be a little bit more of a happy ending, and it turns out that she actually left him.
She purposely left him.
She just wasn't ready, and it fit the tone of the movie, like a bunch of disappointment. But in my opinion, it kind of does that like Joker Batman thing, where I think Joker in one of the quotes says, all it takes is one bad day. And it's literally the difference between Dr. Savannah and Shazam, Billy Batson. Even though Billy Batson grew up a street kid and he still wasn't bad. You know,
No.
Dr. Savannah just had a lot more pressure, and you know, it's relatable to understand why he went those routes. And I know you're talking about him being a good villain, and I think that's what makes him a good villain. That it's so relatable to how we are now, and you know.
Yeah, that's kind of the theme of the movie. I think is the whole movie is Dr. Savannah trying to fulfill his purpose or find his purpose. Same thing for Billy. You know, that's his. He told himself that his purpose was to find his mom. That was his whole motivation throughout the movie, and then he finally does, and finds out what was the real reason she left, and he kind of gets defeated at the end. But that's sort of where his moment, where he triumphs, right? That's where he kind of becomes the hero, which is something that, like I said before, and like we stated in our review of Captain Marvel, which lacked, right? There was no triumphant moment for Captain Marvel. Versus here in Shazam, this is Billy's triumphant moment. He spent his whole life thinking that his one purpose was finding his mom
and his family,
and he realized he had family the entire time, right? Like,
so many messages being just shot across like through this whole movie. And
so I think that was really good. Sort of the character development for Billy was just, I think it was on point. I think
it
it
was
was
on point.
His acting was good too.
Really
in
good.
That one scene with his mom, man, that was a tough scene to handle. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, that was just really good. Like I ended up caring for Billy. I didn't even think I was going to really care for Billy. You know, everybody's there to see Shazam, the superhero.
And it really made the turning point where he accepts his foster family even more impactful.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Because it gave him a sense of like he belongs there for that specific reason, because he really doesn't have anybody else. So.
Yeah.
All right, so let's.
But
talk
throughout the movie, throughout the movie, before he finds his mom, we start exploring how he ends up going into finding the wizard Shazam, right? And you can see this in the trailers, right? So even though it's a spoiler, it's not a spoiler. He hits a kid who's bullying Freddy, and then he runs off to the train, so to the subway station, and then he sits down, and then he gets transported into the what is it? The Rock of Eternity. The Rock of Eternity. Yeah.
So the whole thing, like leading up to this, is Shazam's sort of desperate right now, right? The original wizard, he has to find his heir. He's basically already almost dying, like he's wilting away. Savannah found the lair. He was doing some kind of research. There's a lot of people posting videos on YouTube about how they were called by Shazam and they weren't worthy. So they all kept seeing the same symbols, and so somehow Savannah kind of pieces the stuff together and finds, ends up opening the doorway to the lair and ends up freeing the 7 sins. And so this is sort of the tipping point for the movie where, Shazam the wizard is, okay, I gotta find somebody. So he kind of goes on this rampage of just kind of seeking out, and that's kind of how he finds Billy. He doesn't choose Billy, he just happens to Billy just happened to have this, I guess it was
the little orbs,
right?
Orbs
it was really a coincidence.
Yeah, it was just a coincidence.
Because he didn't get tested. He could have felt that thing, and we don't know if he was a true champion or not, but
so that was the weird thing too. Yeah, I didn't realize it. Like he didn't have to go through the test. He said, take my powers.
He tells him, he's like, you're all I have.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, part of destiny too.
I mean, during that part too, you can see where he's telling them, I need somebody pure of heart. I need somebody to be my champion. And Billy at the end is kind of breaking it down to him. I was like, dude, you're not gonna find nobody like that.
Yeah.
So let me just break it down to you. This is, I don't know what you're looking for, but you're not gonna find it.
Yeah, and he's like, I think he tells him at one point, it's not me, because it's like, I'm definitely not pure of heart.
Definitely not me. Yeah.
So I think at the same time, Shazam kind of realizes what's happening. He's like, well, you know what? I think you own up to whatever everybody's been trying to avoid.
Yeah.
So I'm leaving this all up to you. Now you're the one who needs to make sure that everything.
He literally just leaves them there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the movie kind of picks up pace. Like it really kind of just takes off after that.
At that
point.
exact moment.
Yeah.
Thanos snaps his finger.
Yeah. Boom.
Just...
So from that point, I guess that we can consider that sort of like the
introduction to Shazam.
Not like the.
No, it's not a climax. It's not a climax.
Intro to the Shazam, but sort of like the shift in the movie. I guess the pace of the movie.
From little kids.
Because from here, Billy's already have the powers. Like he's Shazam, and this is where you really see the relationship with Billy and his foster siblings, right?
Yeah, with one of them.
Specifically with Freddy. Which I loved Freddy. I think he was awesome.
Great job.
He was the heart of the movie, man.
Yeah, he was definitely the heart of the movie. He's sort of like he comes off as like this nerdy, kind of helpless sort of kid who's very knowledgeable. He studies superheroes a lot.
Very sarcastic.
He's got collectibles for Batman. He's got collectibles for Superman. If you pay really close attention to the movie, he only wears DC superhero shirts.
Yeah.
You'll have an Aquaman shirt. He wears a Wonder Woman shirt at some point. He's got
Superman shirt.
Superman Flash.
Did he wear
I think
Flash?
he wore Flash.
I haven't seen. I don't know if I saw any Flash on him.
Yeah. So the good thing about that is that it tells you that this is definitely embedded in the DC sort of extended universe. Like these characters exist. People know that these characters exist. So
everybody.
Shazam,
It wasn't just Freddy though, you know, because around the movie in the school area, I saw a little girl running around.
Yeah.
Had an iconic symbol for Batman backpack, so it was pretty cool.
Well, Freddy had it too, no? Didn't Freddy have a Superman shirt?
He had a Superman. He had a Superman backpack.
Yeah, he had Superman.
Yeah,
backpack, that's right.
The one that when I went to see it the second time, I saw the girl running. I was like, oh look, she has a Batman backpack, and I never noticed that the first time.
I think the proof of authenticity is the little bullet.
Yeah,
the little bullet that Superman got shot with.
Yeah,
that's what really makes it like Superman is there.
Let's talk about like
Well, we go through the trials.
Yeah, like the trials, him testing out his powers,
Yeah.
which I think is one of the, funniest and best scenes to watch because I guess this is sort of where you see the relationship between Freddy and his knowledge. He's like, hey, have you tried this? Do you have this? Do you have this? And sort of Billy's just willingness to
do everything.
Because he doesn't know what to do. He's like, hey, help me. You're the only one that knows anything about the superhero
I think
stuff.
It's so funny when Shazam's like, how is any of this obvious?
Yeah.
You know, 'cause it's true. Like,
how do you know?
Like, try to fly. See, what are you gonna do? You know.
So like he comes up with this checklist and they're testing it. And there's a really funny scene where he's testing if he's fireproof.
Without him knowing, though.
Shazam goes inside a box, and Freddy just literally. So they kind of pitch it as teleportation, right? So there's two boxes, trying to see if you go from one box to the other. So while he's inside the box, Freddy goes and sets the box on fire. And
fire immunity.
One of the funniest things too is also when they're at the convenience store and he's you don't know if the suit is bulletproof or if he's bulletproof.
Yeah, or if your body's bulletproof,
and
right?
he's like, shoot him in the face.
Yeah.
And
he's like, okay, yeah, shoot me in the face.
And then they just start bouncing off his face, and it's just
so like the interplay between Freddy and just Billy as Shazam is very different versus Billy and Freddy. Like it's crazy that they made Shazam and Billy two different characters, even though technically they're the same person, right?
Yeah, the same person, yeah. Which is it was kind of consistent because you saw Billy kind of more rough when he was Billy, but when he became Shazam,
he was like playful, right?
Yeah,
he was kind of joking around. He was confident.
But at the same time, I guess it didn't really matter because he's a grown up.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, let me do whatever I want. So that's where it was. It kind of got me off a little bit because you wanted to see the same consistency throughout the movie with Billy and Shazam.
But you know, that's something that he talks about though. Freddy mentions it. He's like, you know what? I like you like this.
Oh yeah, because he was more fun.
Because you do notice that like Shazam's he's just happier that way. You know what I mean? I think he's just that. I mean, he did show off. You know, it got to him a little bit, and so you know that kind of makes him kind of like the origin of him, you know, understanding his powers, appreciating his powers, and at the end of the day, he is a little kid, and I think that's why everything just made sense. Because I mean, if you would have seen Superman like that, it would have been pretty weird, right? It would have been pretty weird. But seeing Shazam, because he is a little kid, it just fits perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the middle of the film. It's kind of Billy testing out his powers and him as Shazam sort of increasing his relationship with Freddy, and at some point he even starts to. I guess his other siblings sort of find out about his alternate identity, and he the relationship with his whole foster family kind of just, increases.
Yeah.
Right? So he kind of starts to feel, okay, hey, maybe I do belong here. Yeah. So that's when you kind of start transitioning towards the final act of the film, when Dr. Sivana starts coming in and gives Billy that challenge, right? So Billy comes off as this powerful being, and he finally has Sivana, who has the power of the 7 sins. Which is basically on par with what Billy has, and they kind of go at it, and this is kind of what Carlos and I referenced in the last videos. Like, this is where you kind of see snippets of that Man of Steel sort of Zack Snyder-esque action sequences where they're flying and they're going through buildings, and I thought that was really cool. I mean, it's really good.
It is good.
And this is sort of that same thing. There's a tipping point where Billy and Freddy's relationship gets hurt because of Billy's cockiness and not sort of
when it gets to him.
Not taking Freddy's sort of recommendations into account, and because
at the same time they were both being selfish with each other.
Yeah, exactly. So Freddy was trying to use him for his own gain, and then
Billy was using himself.
Billy was literally like, he was like this performer in the streets, and people are paying him.
Which
take pictures.
Which is understandable.
Yeah.
You just got powers, and you're a little kid. Like, imagine you as a little kid. Like, you don't have time for nobody. You're doing your own thing, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it's more like a performance act.
Yeah.
Trying to collect donations.
It was, I think, that was really funny. He's like, he's over here getting paid. Shooting lightning out of his hands, and like these people are literally like tipping him like he's some kind of circus performer.
Yeah, he's literally making money.
Which causes that scene where the
bus the tire pops, it derails and comes
Yeah.
off, and he goes and catches it.
And that's when we first meet Savannah with fighting against Shazam, which is one of the fighting scenes, I guess.
Yeah, they have two fight scenes. So yeah, like we said, that's sort of the middle snippet of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and talk about the final act where
the best part.
You know, Savannah sort of finds out who Shazam is, finds out his kid, finds out through Freddy, because Freddy, you know, looking for him.
Yeah. And then he sees them arguing in the TV.
I think like how all that led to when we left off from the mom, him jumping off the balcony, which you see in the trailer.
Yeah.
It was just epic, because you know that's him going to the final battle, him becoming part of the family.
Yeah.
Like kind of like at the peak of his like early origin Shazam mode.
Yeah,
you know
so
what I mean?
But just to give you guys sort of background on this, he finds out that Savannah's kidnapped his foster family.
Yeah.
Right? He has them under like as hostages, I guess. He's like, if you want to see your family again, you know, then this. So he's I think Freddy calls him on his phone.
Come home, Billy.
So he's just had this interaction with his mom that figured out that his mom didn't want him. So this is where we brought up the whole fact that this is his triumphant moment, right? It's like, my mom's not my family, my real family's in danger, and this is where he surpasses. He becomes a hero, right? He does that cool scene jumping off the roof.
Oh, that was dope.
And Shazam, he comes and he goes and
zooms.
Because he finds out he cares about his family.
Yeah.
This foster family. They just brought him in with they brought him in like nothing.
They took him in
and integrated him, and they
it's perfect.
So that's sort of the transition to the final act. So speaking of the final act, let's just talk about that final scene. I think definitely the biggest part.
The funniest probably part of the movie too.
Yeah, funniest. I think just honestly the most entertaining part of the movie was the Shazam family.
Man, that was.
Which this guy called already. He kind of knew it was gonna happen, but honestly, I think that was the point of the movie where we even heard the audience. They were like, "Yeah!" Everybody was like clapping and rooting for them.
Really happy about that, and it came from I think it's the funniest scene ever.
Yeah,
in the whole movie.
The way they became the Shazam family, Billy's like, he's holding the staff that the Shazam staff. I guess, right? He's holding the Shazam staff, and he's about to render his powers to Dr. Savannah when he listens back to what the wizard had told him.
Yeah.
The throne where my sisters and brothers sat.
Saying that not only do I give you my powers, I give you my heart.
My heart, yeah. So just by knowing the fact where his triumph is that he's finally warmed up to who he is gonna become and accepted. He's accepted the reality, the fact that his mom's not there, that he actually has a family who wants him, right? And that's where he kicks Savannah out of the way, rips out the staff, tells them the one that's really funny though. It's a really funny scene. He tells everybody, hold the staff, or and say my name.
Billy.
Yeah, everybody calls out Billy.
It was so funny.
Yeah, because he can't say his name, because then he'll go back. So he's like, no, say the name that I have to say to transform into this, right?
Yeah.
So then they all say it, and then boom, they all. It was epic. It was I think that's the perfect word to describe that scene. It was epic when the smoke finally clears. And Savannah has these realizations.
All you see is the lightning
bolts.
Lightning bolts glowing. Felt like Power Rangers.
Yeah, that was very awesome, man. And just I think all the actors that they got
perfect.
were perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect. Role really good.
Freddie, the guy who played Freddie, he did good.
Adam Brody.
Pedro. Pedro.
The guy that did Pedro.
No, the girl who did Darla. Oh, that girl killed it.
Good.
Oh, Megan Good, right?
Yeah, she killed it in that role.
She's very good. Yeah.
And then her Darla in general. In the action sequences were awesome. This is the closest thing we got to the Flash.
Yeah.
Like the closest thing to it, like
where she's zooming.
She's
like literally
saving everybody
running up
the
Ferris wheels, jumping in the air, and I think she, in my opinion, she used the most powers out of everybody.
She kind of did.
Because she used like a little bit of flying. Like everybody, in my opinion, individually, almost only used one power. Right? Like I think Pedro used super strength.
They kind of had like isolated scenes.
Freddy used flight, super speed. Hadouken.
Yeah, Hadouken with the lightning.
With the
and
lightning.
stuff.
Yeah. So, but it was
Yeah, so that was like sort of the that was
Towards the end of
yeah,
the-
best
yeah,
scene,
yeah, towards the end
yeah.
of-
And then kind of it sort of slows down in pace. You know, Shazam kind of overpowers Dr. Sivana. It's kind of just like basic superhero ending fight scenes, right? It's not really something that's
epic.
over the top. The thing that made it epic was the Shazam family, right?
Yeah.
And it was actually rather than Billy's scene versus Sivana, it's those scenes where you see his siblings as the Shazam, you know, members of the Shazam family, kind of taking out the seven sins. Like that was what made the ending act really awesome. And I mean, hopefully the way they set it up, you know, sequel, I feel like we'll see them again.
Yes.
So
I hope so. I mean,
they definitely made the movie. I mean, Zachary Levi did great as Shazam, but just them working that whole unit, like that, just the collective of the
it's a lot of
foster
people.
family, just them. It was awesome. I think it really put like the icing on the cake for that movie.
Well, the sequel set up.
Yeah, so the sequel
Whether-
set up. So
Whether
yeah,
it happens, we know that it is because I think everybody came back for the sequel. So
yeah. So
hopefully, you know.
Hopefully we keep the same actors.
yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
really hoping they keep the same actors. So speaking on that, let's go ahead and end it with the end credit scene. Let's start talking about the end credit scene.
Well,
So
before we get there, because I know the end credit scene kind of talks about some of the villain, right?
Yeah.
What's it called? Something Mind?
Mr. Mind.
Mr. Mind?
Mr. Mind, yeah.
We might have seen Black Adam, right? In the movie
No,
itself.
yeah, we did see Black Adam, and I'm
Like-
gonna tell you something. It looked like Dwayne the Rock Johnson. It looked like him. The second time I saw him, I said, "Yep, that's him."
He had
That's
the
him.
Under Armour.
Yeah, that's when the wizard's kind of showing Sivana
Savannah, yeah.
Yeah,
the
no.
history of the Shazam power and
Hey,
Is it Savannah? No, it wasn't Savannah. It was Billy.
or Billy. Yeah,
Oh,
it was
Billy,
Billy, not
Billy,
Savannah.
Billy.
Billy.
yeah,
And
him,
he's showing him like a 3D hologram using his magic.
when they chose the wrong champion.
Yeah.
Because
So
he went evil.
you
That's why
see
he
the
went
silhouette
evil.
of Black Adam, and you know it's Black Adam because of the way the suit looks,
And he's bald.
and he's bald, and he looks like The Rock, like
Yeah,
this
he
big
looks
swole
like The
dude.
Rock, man.
It's
He
like a
looks
little
The
Easter
Rock.
egg, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You know what? That's how they could do the Black Adam. Do the origin story.
Well, the thing, so you know, let's jump into
Mr. Mind?
into the ending scene, right? Because in the ending scene, you see Savannah doing the same characters, you know, in order for him to travel back
Symbols,
into the symbols, in order for him to travel back into the Rock of Eternity. But then in the beginning of the movie, when Savannah first goes in, he sees a little worm, right? And that little worm is Mr. Mind, which is one
Sometimes
of
throughout the movie too.
well, he came out one more. Well, he came out one more time when
Yeah.
Savannah re-entered the Rock of Eternity.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
that
that's
little
right, yeah.
worm, it's one of the greatest villains of the Shazam.
Shazam. Yeah.
And he assembles a group of villains. I can't remember the name of them, but he assembles a group of villains. But in one of those, you know, in that group, one of the villains that shows up is Black Adam.
yeah, yeah.
So it's gonna end up because
We're probably gonna bring him back.
oh man, I'm trying to think of the story, but I can't.
yeah, so basically
Okay.
he might just recruit Black Adam, and
Yeah.
that's when we get our first.
Oh no, Mr. Mind tells Savannah where to find Black Adam, and he releases Black Adam.
Okay.
He releases Black Adam.
Okay,
so
so
the sequel is gonna show up for Mr. Mind,
Yeah.
and then the third part of the
That's when
movie
we get
is when
Black
we
Adam.
finally get Black Adam, which will be like 2022.
We're about to have two bald villains with Shazam.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that if that's the way it works out, that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that'd be
That'd be
cool.
good.
And
yeah,
it'd be
Mr.
good to
yeah,
finally
that
see
is true.
The Rock as Black Adam because he got this role like years ago.
Like 3
Yeah.
years ago now.
No,
But-
more I think.
But the good thing is that it's set up now, right?
Yeah.
Now it's set up for the sequel.
What's
And
and
then-
for success?
Yeah,
Right.
and then the third part is when by that time Black Adam already has his movie.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the Shazam 3 will come out, and then that's where hopefully we'll be able to see them fight together. So,
I just hope we get more Shazam family.
yeah, same
Yeah,
here.
we're, like regardless, like it sets it up for sequels. Is what we're trying to pitch to you guys
Yeah.
as it's I think like they have a bright future because it's definitely one of the strongest DC movies so far.
It is.
So aside from that, there was one more end credit scene. I think one that sort of gave us all heart attacks.
A little laugh, no?
And a little laugh too, I guess.
little
The
laugh.
final one is Billy finally comes through for Freddy to come to the school.
Oh,
And
that's- Yeah, but that's not an end credit scene.
it's like
part of
a
the movie.
It's like the end of the movie.
It's the last scene of the movie.
Yeah.
yeah.
Finally, I guess, finally fulfilling one of the requests for his
For
brother.
Freddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I still consider it as like an end credit scene because the movie's it's technically over
Yeah.
and then they kind of just they shoot. I guess it's a mid credits almost, but it's
No, it's like the
right
last clip.
Was it at the very end of the movie?
Yeah,
It's literally
like the closing scene.
Yeah, like the closing scene.
It's literally Peter Parker, Aunt May.
When she catches him,
she's
like, what the? Oh, yeah.
And then it cuts off.
So it's I guess it's literally like for some reason I just like the way they timed it. It felt like a mid-credit scene for some reason. But it's like I guess it's the very closing scene of the movie.
Yeah, it's like Freddy had asked
Billy to come to school with Shazam.
Show up for him, so the bullies that were messing with him could like believe him that Shazam was his friend. And the little kids tease him. The bullies tease him about bringing Superman too. You're never gonna bring dessert. And the movie closes out with Shazam coming to help him. Show off that he is his friend.
Yeah.
And then he's like he also brought a little friend, and then shows Superman's torso.
You see, his torso. You don't see the face. It kind of it cuts off at the face.
It's like a funny kind of like because we were going through that whole is he Superman or not?
Yeah.
And then at the same time, it's really nice for them to add that because
it was a cool scene.
It was
and
like
then
the cherry on top.
As soon as it pulls out and it shows his body and it cuts off, like that's it, boom.
Yeah.
So I think that was a good little scene. I really wish we could have seen Henry Cavill's face. Though. That would have just put.
I think that was perfect though.
Yeah.
I was right. He hadn't shaved yet.
I would have loved to see Henry Cavill though, man.
That would have been cool.
It would have made the movie, that cameo there for him.
If it wouldn't have been like that, if it would have just been him reading the newspaper in Metropolis, like
that
would have been perfect too.
That would've been
what
cool
I mean? Just anything that showed that he was still in our universe. So.
And then I guess the final end credit. This was like a legit end credit scene. Sort of. This was on par as like Captain America saying, patience is like a. It wasn't like a big reveal or anything. I honestly don't remember it.
I thought it was the Aquaman one where he's talking to fish.
Oh yeah,
he's talking to
fish.
He has a little fishbowl.
Yeah.
And Shazam's like, man, this power wouldn't be cool. And then what's his name? Freddy was like, man, you could command an army of
He's like, why would I ever need this? And he's wearing an Aquaman shirt. He's like. Yeah, he's like, I can command the whole sea.
Yeah, that is true.
And Shazam's like, still not as cool, right?
So it's kind of like, it's just like a little dad because Aquaman's the highest grossing DC film right now, and they're like, for the longest time, he was the dorkiest character. I always made fun of him. Now he's the highest grossing DC film.
No, one of the coolest too.
Yeah, so.
Jason Momoa.
It's really killed it. So yeah, I mean that's our. I mean, there's so much stuff that we didn't talk about because there's so much crammed into that movie.
We've been talking for a while now.
Yeah, like it's like there's so much stuff to talk about. We kind of just talked about the main points, but yeah.
That's why you should comment, message us, and we can talk about it more.
Exactly.
Detail, like
I mean, we'd be
parts.
more than happy to talk with you guys in the comments, but let us know what your favorite part was. Let us know, are you looking forward to the sequel, to see The Rock as Black Adam, or maybe if you have theories of what's going to happen in the sequel, which is on par with what Juan had, let us know, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, as always, like,
comment, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell your cousins, tell
everything.
Everybody.
Yeah, so we'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.